Hey everybody, welcome back to Around the Emirates podcast with Sara Mousa, where I speak to guests from across UAE about topics you want to hear about. Today I'm joined by the amazing Leila. Hello, Leila.
Hi, Sarah.
So good to have you on the show today. So I brought Leila on the show because she is an executive coach and accredited coaching supervisor. I love women that empower the community. Please tell me your story and what got you involved in this sector.
First, thank you for inviting me, Sarah. Lovely to be here. And wow, what got me here? What got me here is my passion. And what got me here won't get me there because this passion keeps to be nurtured. I've always been passionate about people's development, people's career, people's leadership journey. When I was in-house as either head of talent or in terms of leadership development or learning and development when I was in my previous life, corporate life. And I've always been, and that actually goes back to when I did my master's in HR. I've always loved the developments and strategy aspect of the human talent and capital. And that's why I've always been a specialist when I was working in corporate, which led me to coaching. Not that I had any, well, I did study coaching when I was at university, but it wasn't a full-time job. It was part of my job. And part of my job was also getting coaches to support me coaching the leaders and high potentials and successors that I was working with. Until one day when I realized, actually, I could make this as a profession because I'm paying these coaches that I'm bringing from the UK a lot of money. And we faced very interesting times in 2011, 2012, when I was in corporate. And we started needing bilingual coaches, executive and team coaches. And I was buying those coaching services from the UK, and I couldn't find qualified corporate experience and qualified and accredited coaches. So I spotted a niche in the market. And I go, okay, well, actually, this is what I have been building myself for. I've always wanted to set up my business. I just wasn't sure when. And I just spotted an opportunity, and then I'll tell you more about my story. And that's why I left. And it's going to be, Compass is going to turn 11 in September, and that's my baby.
I love that.
Thank
I
you.
love the fact that you chose something that like you saw a gap in the market and you decided to harness your skills and your experience to find a
Yeah.
solution for that. Now, to find a solution for something that may not exist in the market and to gain people's trust and loyalty in your brand must be so difficult. What kind of challenges did you come across and how did you overcome them?
Oh, that is such a wonderful question. The first challenge, actually, the first challenge is I had a burnout when I left. So I had to overcome that burnout. And in those days, I don't know if you do remember, we were not talking, I'm talking about 2012, 2013. The word burnout did not exist in the corporate dictionary. No one knew about well-being. No one knew about burnout. No one knew about mental health. I had a burnout. So my biggest challenge, so I knew I wanted to set up my own business. I had my business partners lined up, but I wasn't ready because I needed to look after my health first before I could offer these services to other people. So I went to Thailand for a month, and I cannot tell you how much I sobbed in my retreat. I went for yoga and meditation, and it's as if I had soaked in all that negativity and that stress. And I did not know at that point it was burnout. It was burnout because I was diagnosed with stress and burnout. And that's what led me to thinking, you know what, it's time to leave because I need to save myself. And I loved what I was doing. I was super passionate about, but I lost my passion. And that's when I knew something had to change. So the biggest challenge was first to overcome burnout. So it took me 2 or 3 months before I could actually, now I'm ready to start a business. So we started the business in August and I had resigned in March. So it took me all this time to really lift myself up. And because I wasn't ready emotionally, physically, my body gave up on me. And that became my story afterwards, actually. So that was number one. Number two is, of course, at that point, we were 3 business partners. Everybody knew us individually because we worked in corporate organizations. But as we set up Compass as a business, no one knew what Compass was and who is Compass because it didn't exist. We co-founded Compass. So the first challenge I remember we had through our connections, we had a big tender in Abu Dhabi. And we were invited because we had one of the connections, and they go, okay, there will be a tender. We would love to have you guys. So we worked so hard on that tender. Actually, before that tender, because that became a story that we will never forget, we sent a proposal, and they had used the content of our proposal to send the tender out there to other vendors. So they liked our content, they liked our methodology. And when we received the tender, we go, hang on a minute, this is our content. So now they're sending it to other people wanting to have different quotes, which we did respond to, because then it was a government entity, semi-government, so it had to go into tender, which we did. And we didn't get it. That was the biggest challenge that we received and faced as a business. But from that, it became our biggest opportunity, because the feedback, so I'll never forget this client because it shaped who we became. Mercer took the lead on this project, and we were told we were number 2, but we were not Mercer, because Mercer was really known globally. Mercer is a brand. We were not a brand at that point. So they go, we know you individually, but we don't know you as a brand. And we want the quality of what you offer plus the brand. That actually was the biggest lesson we've received. And we go, okay, well then from this point, we want to become a global brand. Fast forward 11 years, in September, we became that global brand that works with multinationals, with government, semi-government, and top business schools, like the INSEAD of the world, London Business School, Ashridge Business School. So we didn't feel sorry for ourselves. Oh, why did we not get it? But we saw that, okay, so these organizations are looking for big brands, but we had to actually start from the beginning, because we were entrepreneurs. None of us had been an entrepreneur before. So we had to really learn the ropes of the business. And 11 years down the line, we became that global business, working with really awesome clients globally, not just in the region and locally, but globally. And that's something I'm really, really proud of.
That's an incredible story.
Thank you. Thank you. It shaped who we are. It really, because we saw that as an opportunity. We thought, okay, we're going to face this same challenge with other clients. So we did also this consciously by having different partnerships with other, like the business schools and like other businesses that we partner up with. So we create a holistic approach so that we're not a standalone. It's not a standalone business that operates in isolation. We've always believed in strategic partnerships that add value to each other's businesses and who we are. So yeah, so that's how we've been growing globally, and to the point where 6.5 years, when I also took another partnership of the Academy of Executive Coaching, which is a top executive coach training school, where I am their global partner in the Middle East for GCC and Levant. They didn't have any presence in the UAE or the whole region. So when I took that partnership, I saw again another need, which is really executive coaching and team coaching with triple accreditation, because I've been in the market long enough to see that was missing. So that was another. So every growth part of the journey, I spotted an opportunity, and then I went for it because I believed in what I can bring to the world. So I think the story here is dream big, because the sky's the limit or beyond the limit. And I'm a dream catcher. I dream really big. And I do help my clients to dream big as well, because everything, I mean, we all live in Dubai or Abu Dhabi. The impossible is possible, isn't it?
Wow. I don't think I could even
I'm looking at you and I'm thinking, should I go ahead? What is going on?
You've answered all my questions beautifully. Everything I was about to ask you has come out so wonderfully and in the best way. And I love the passion, just the enthusiasm, the passion that comes with the way that you're saying, the delivery of what you're saying. Like, you have clearly not seen failure as a mistake. You've seen failure as a chance to rebuild and recreate something and do something differently. And I love the fact that you did not let that keep you back and hold you back. And the fact that you ended up using that as a platform to almost like catapult you into international expansion. I find that fascinating.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, because there's no, I've never been one of those people who would feel sorry for herself or poor me, why did this happen to me? Because I've never had that victim mindset. But I've always seen this. I mean, what my father taught me, and he's been my mentor, he always told me, he always shared with me, when you fall, we all fall, but it's how do you stand up and continue believing in your North Star. So the lesson that he's always taught me, continue believing in your North Star. And I continue to, because, when I stumble personally, professionally, all those experiences made me who I am today and who I continue to be, because I will continue stumbling. There will always be challenges. Life is full of challenges and growth opportunities. I mean, those who never face challenges, for me, they've never taken risks in their life and they played safe. And for me, coaching and supervision is about stepping out of a comfort zone. If you're playing safe, if you've not made any mistakes, if you've not had any failure, you're really playing it by the book and playing it safe. And that's not life. For me, there is a big school of life where we have to try everything, different things, whatever your soul, whatever your ideas, whatever your dreams, and success and failure. How you may want to label it. I never call it failure. I call it a lesson to learn from.
Very true. I love that. I love the authenticity in what you're saying. And I love how, like, you're talking to me from experience. You're not talking to me as if like this is what you've heard or read in a book. You're talking to me from your own personal experience, something that worked for you and will work for so many people listening to this. And I mean, you've shared so many words of wisdom already, but I'm curious, is there any kind of final imparting wisdom you'd like to leave with the listeners today?
Is continue dreaming big. I think dreaming big, in fact, my colleague and I, we designed and run a workshop about being a dream catcher and dreaming big for your life, personal and professional. Because what has brought me here is I've always been stretching and dreaming big and not knowing how to get there most of the time. But it's that journey of how will I make this happen, the people that I'm going to encounter, the lessons that I'm going to learn, the experiences that I'm going to have, to accumulate along the years and the journey. So I think that's number one. Number two is always surround yourself with positive people who will lift you higher. I personally have no room or no space for negative people. When I tell you, Sarah, none, I have none around me. And it's a conscious decision because I don't have time for nagging. We all nag from time to time, but then we step out of it. But people who constantly are nagging, constantly victim mode, only go, I don't have space for this. Because I want to focus on living the moment. I want to continue dreaming up and then taking people who are willing to dream with me, all for all of us to shine. So I don't have time for self-pity or playing small, because I don't play small in my life. And the people and the executives that I work with do not play small either. So when we play big, but we don't know how we're going to get there, that's where I come in as a companion. Like, this is a life adventure. Let's just join it together and let's continue. So surrounding yourself with positive people, and also not just positive people who will always tap on your shoulder, but people who will challenge you. I'm so blessed to have the closest family members and my colleagues and friends who are around me who support me and challenge me. And I do the same for them. So there is that balance between support and challenge. Otherwise, again, you're going to play small or they're not being authentic. The last one is definitely invest in your network. Invest in the connections that you have. I am a career coach with the business schools and also in my own practice. One of the biggest things I coach people on is networking skills. And I can coach a CEO who has who doesn't feel comfortable networking because they've been in the role for 20, 25 years in a corporate life, and now they're out and they don't know how to do this because they left their connections behind them because they were so busy building the business. Do never underestimate the power of your network. But a network is not just there when you need them, you need the job, or you need them to introduce you to. It's a relationship that you nurture. Imagine this as a plant, and you continue watering that plant with love and care. And when you do this, then you're seeing that plant flourishing, and that's your relationship. And it's a give and take, like, again, any other relationship. If you just taking from a network and never giving back, then it's not going to work like any other relationship. So I would say these are my three words of wisdom for people who are listening to this podcast. I hope they will find them useful.
I definitely found all of it useful. Thank you so much, Leila, for taking the time and walking us through that. And that was super inspiring. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sarah. Thank you for having me here and for giving me this opportunity to just speak to another human being, because we're all human beings doing our best to follow our passions in the world.
Very valid. Well, thank you so much, Leila, for your time. I'm sure my listeners have really learned a lot from kind of listening to this interview today, and I can't wait to hear more from you soon.
Thank you so much. Thanks.